Welcome. Welcome to the show. I don't like that. I'm your host, Joey fucking Wahibi, or Joey Wobbs as you would call me. And I don't like any of these. Why are all these so weird? Yeah, all these are weird. All right, that's good enough. All right, welcome to the show. I'm Joey Wobbs. This is Wobbs Sports. We're going to do transfer talk today. I was feeling a little spicy, so I was feeling I might as well get on stream, have a conversation with some peoples. Nice to see everybody. JK, my G, nice to see you. Big up to Nexus. Big up Evan. I'm doing well, bro. I'm doing well. Danish. Solomon, welcome to the show. All right. So on today's agenda, we're going to have a conversation about what I know about Ekitike, what's being reported about Ekitike, and what's been coming out about Ekitike in like the last 15, 20 minutes, okay? I got some information about him this morning. I'm assuming a bid is probably going to be in by tomorrow by this whole thing. I thought by the end of the day today, but now I'm thinking probably closer to tomorrow based off of what I'm reading. We're going to do some Adler news, and then we're going to talk about left wingers, the whole Gittens conversation. And yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that CFC. We'll talk about what his pros, cons are in such a nature. We're going to talk about left wingers, the Gittens conversation, how I feel about Gittens. I have a couple other names I'm going to pull up that we can talk about against Gittens because I think that it's good to have other options. These are not all options that I want, by the way, so I'm not going to necessarily just go and just say, hey, this is what we're doing, and these are the players I want us to go for. No, I'm going to give you options that I don't want to. So we'll go through that. And yeah, I think those are the two major subjects that we're going to really go over here, okay? So first things first. All right, first things first, Hugo, okay? So Hugo. First thing that I want to address is the type of player we're getting, okay? So I want to get everybody's favorite hated website, Data MB, out, and I'm going to pull them up. We're going to go and we're going to put them up against some of these strikers. We're going to talk about the data because data means goddamn shit if you don't fucking have some understanding and actually watch the player behind the data. So I'm going to bring in, and hopefully you guys in the chat are going to bring in to some of the wingers that we have, some of the other options that we could go for potentially. And we're going to have a conversation about what we actually think about Hugo and compared to what we already have and who we could go up against, right? So here's that everybody's fucking favorite website, DataMB. Honestly, it's one of my favorite websites just to kind of look at data. I just like the visual aspect of it realistically. It actually doesn't give you great numbers. So from my understanding, from the overall aspect of what you want, and you can't get a full view of a footballer on DataMB. You can kind of get a good glimpse, but you're never going to get a full view. That's more FBref. You could get a better view of things with FBref, but even FBref, you have to be a little bit picky on what you're looking for here. Unknown. I'm going to tell you. We'll go through that actually, G. We're going to go through that. That's exactly what we're going to go through actually. So we're going to go through why people are actually tripping on this, right? What is it that people are tripping on, right? So let's just put them up against what we got, right? That's first things first. I always do that with Nico Jackson. And then let's put them up against the best in the game in our league. Let's just zoom out because. All right, cool. So, what does this fucking graph mean? right? That's probably the first fucking thing that we have to have a conversation about. What the fuck does this graph mean? Excuse my language, and I'm sorry if you guys have kids watching me. It's probably not the best show to be having kids watching me, so I do apologize. I don't normally have a kid's situation on here, so it's just let me be me. All right. So what does this graph mean for it? The first thing that you gotta have to understand is Hugo Ekitike is not necessarily like this footballer that is like a extremely like you're not going to necessarily be able to compare the stats direct to direct because it's two different leagues, right? Like that's the one thing that you kind of have to understand. Why is Nicholas Jackson on here twice? All right. Yeah, thank you, JK. So the one thing that I always like to just kind of look at is how does he do aerially? Okay, that's the first thing that you kind of have to look at. All right. So aerially, he's actually like around what Nico's doing. So he's not great because we know Nico ain't that great. He's slender build. He has a good frame to get himself to be a better aerial threat. But look at even Isak struggles aerially. So it's not necessarily the worst things. The one thing that you have to understand for me, and the one thing that I like to look at for this whole thing is attacking actions. Like what this actually means is can he create his own shot? Okay. So 94% of the time he's capable of creating his own shot, or 94th percentile of his group he's being able to create his own shot. That's actually like extremely good numbers. Okay. Extremely good numbers. All right. Though I hate that this doesn't have shot creating actions on here. Let me actually pull up FBref real quick for him. Okay, so to kind of go based off of what I'm thinking, to go on what I'm thinking with this player, is basically we're getting a guy who has the capability of being able to dribble on his own and create for himself. Okay, this is a different style of player to what we have with Liam, and I think Liam still is underrated in this aspect of him being able to create his own shot, especially off the half turn. But this is a player that's willing to take his man on. B, he'll be able to drag us up the pitch in tight moments, just like in the way that Nico does. And honestly, I think that Liam does a really good job of doing that as well. And C, he has the capability, which the other two, in my opinion, do not have, of being able to create his own shot on a consistent basis. Okay, this is the type of thing that you look for when you're looking at being able, specifically shot creating actions, is a guy who could be able to score against a low block on his own. Okay, when you are playing football and you actually have you're running into spaces, you don't actually have to create your own shot. That's not creating your own shot. If you're being defended, that's when you're creating your own shot. Do you see how that stat is actually, that's how the stat's actually interpreted. Okay. So in the end, okay, the one thing that worries me the most about this player is what someone here said is his XG, underperformance of XG. Okay. Now, this can be looked at in two separate ways. Okay. One, if we're talking about the player in itself, right? If the player itself, well, he has had two different roles at this football club in the last year. Okay, the creator for Marmoush at the first half of the year, and then in the second half of the year, he was the talisman. Okay, so obviously his role changed. His role increased as the year progressed, and him taking the four shots a game in a team just means that he has probably has more of the load on his back to be able to try to shoot. Okay, my opinion on the guy, no matter what team he goes to, he's going to need to gain 5 to 10 pounds. Period. Okay? He's extremely skinny. Regardless, this guy's going to need to put some muscle on him. Okay? Get that guy in the goddamn gym. Okay? Get him on a protein diet as soon as he walks into the fucking football club, if it's our football club or any other football club that he goes to. Okay? Now, the one thing that you're going to notice with this is he's actually a pretty good passer. And specifically progressive passes, like if you're getting 2 progressive passes a game as a striker, that means you're in areas that are deep that you're trying to get your wingers involved in. So that's actually a really good sign. And the fact that he's actually pretty successful with these passes is also a really good sign. Okay. From the eye test, okay, this is the other side of this. Okay, from the eye test, this is a striker. All right, this is a guy who's played striker in multiple different forms. At Ream, he played striker in a 2. At Frankfurt, he played striker as a solo striker, and he backed up Mbappe at PSG. Okay, the PSG move was the wrong step for him. Okay, that's all it was. It was one step too high for him in the end. He ended up taking a step, and by the way, he was 20 years old. This is not necessarily like this at the time when he moved to PSG. He was only 20. So he's not necessarily like this flop at PSG. When you have Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar over there at 20, and you're coming in as a 20-year-old, you're not necessarily going to get the opportunity to show yourself. So the one thing that we're really looking at here is someone that's very similar to Nico, but he has someone so much more of an instinct around the box, and especially in link up. Like when I say link up, I'm saying layoffs, and I'm saying in with runs to open up spaces for the players that are behind him. There's a reason why Marmoush scored nearly 20 goals in half a season. Okay, and the reason is that he had a guy that was creating gaping holes for him to be able to shoot pause. Like that's what it comes down to. Like you need a guy that's going to be able to have the understanding where the movement of the player, the movement of the player behind you, and where this player that wants to be behind you, and making the runs that are going to allow him to be successful, to be able to create space for him. The understanding of how to drag center backs out of their position, to occupy 2 center backs. This is not someone who's a fresh chicken at this, as I would say with Nico. Nico is fresh at this. We all know he was never really a striker. So he's not going to make striker movements. This is, to me, this is the type of profile you take the risk on. In my opinion, we can start to get to like some of the news about it. Let me go to Adler because he's been really on top of this. And then I have some other like interesting news to tie all of Adler's news to this. So just give me a quick second here. Quick second here, guys. Sorry, I'm normally more prepared, but I just got out of work too, so. Why am I struggling to find this guy? Okay, we can start here while I look for the link. So in the last few hours, the news for Hugo, the talks for Hugo Ekitike has intensified. This is just a zesty ass way of saying that we fucking have gotten close to a number that we're going to agree on. This is going to happen very quickly. Okay. The reason why I say that, let me try to find the link real quick. The reason I say that is I think that there's something that people aren't like taking into consideration, and that's right here, is that Frankfurt actually want pieces from Strasbourg. And I've been trying to make sure that people understand this. Like, yo, JK, can you find the Twitter link for Adler? I'm fucking struggling to find it while I'm looking at this. If you could throw it in the chat, that would be fantastic. If someone could throw it in the chat, that would be fantastic. So I'd like to pull his thing up real quick. So the one thing, this is a really interesting piece of information that I think is being overlooked in this whole conversation, because I think people are really enamored with the 84 million euro number that people are like, that they're quoting us, or 84 million pound number that they're quoting us, which comes out to like 100 million euros. This actually, I think, ends up being somewhere around a 60 million pound deal, somewhere around 65 plus add-ons, which I'd say probably is around 20 million in add-ons. So they would end up being able to get that 100 million if they wanted to, if he actually hits. So like that's kind of where I think this deal ends up kind of being around. And the reason I think that we can get this deal the way that we want it is because in the end, these guys want 2 players from Strasbourg. They want Nanasi, who we just bought last year. Like, it's not even like he's only been here a year. And I've been very impressed with Nanasi from just like the watch of him. And he's a perfect Bundesliga player. Perfect Bundesliga player. Like, he'll be fantastic in Bundesliga. And then the second's Dylan Bakwa, which they've had interest in since January. So, like, this is like some really, really key stuff that people are missing out on. That, like, when these deals kind of are happening, especially like we're having conversations about the type of players that we're linked with. Like, since we want Hugo and a lot of the players that we have in our system, because it's our system. Doesn't matter if it's at Strasbourg. We own these guys. You know what I'm saying? We own these guys. If they want to buy from Strasbourg, yeah, we'll give you a deal. If you give us a deal, we're Blueco in the end. Blueco's buying Hugo Ekitike. It's not necessarily Chelsea. It's going to end up, well, it is Chelsea, but it's Blueco, because Blueco owns all of it. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to tell you guys for a while, if you've been on this channel as long, I've been telling you, this shit's NBA deals, bro. We doing NBA swaps out here. It's just in a different way that people are not understanding, really grasping yet. They're not grasping the idea of it yet. Like, this shit is NBA swaps, bro. We got pieces. It's more like baseball than anything, if you want to put it into perspective, because they have farm teams and they do a lot of swapping with farm team players and shit. But this is what what we're talking about here. Like realistically, we just doing the money exchange for the fucking PSR and all that other good jazz. But that's all it comes down to. Thank you, Ator. I appreciate you, G. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ator. But yeah, these are it's normal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you should. Anybody that we buy, anybody we buy, okay? Anybody we buy, CAA Mafia, shoot me a message on Twitter. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it. Anybody we buy, bro. Anybody we buy, okay? Anybody. Be on the lookout for a sale the other way. Just, bro, count on it. Bank on it, bro. Bank on it. Yo, Marwan, I'm doing like solo. I'm trying to get used to the solo stream thing. So, like, no offense, I'm not doing like sending the link out today. Okay, I'm just doing my solo thing. I'm trying to get used to the whole solo thing. I'm trying to get through this, see how I like it and stuff. But we'll talk about it. So, to me, let me start a few of these, because you guys are asking great fucking questions in here, and I want to get to all of these fucking questions. Like, I want to get to all of you guys, but I can't. I'm like looking at this shit, and I'm trying to get through my thought, and if I don't get through my thought, I'm just gonna go through the chat the entire time, and I promise you, I'm gonna get to the chat. I promise I'm gonna answer all your questions too. Okay, Cool. All right. So basically, let me get this Adler shit up real quick because this is like that shit is like the most. He's like the most like tied person right now that's getting the most information right. And I'm saying this based off of the people I know from Germany because I've been asking, like I've been specifically just sending Adler tweets to my ITK in Germany and being like, yo, is this real? Like literally, like that's all I've been doing. Like, yeah. Like he don't tell me shit if I don't ask. So like I gotta go and ask, right? Like I gotta go and figure out my shit. Like I want to know. But here we are. All right, perfect. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yo, thank you, Ator. I appreciate you, G. I appreciate you. Yo, that's a fucking Lamine Yamal said the best defender in UCL is Pacho. That's crazy. Here we are. All right, so he thinks it's only a matter of time. I think it's only a matter of time. My guy tells me it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. Yo, I don't give a damn what Strasbourg fans think, bro. I don't give a fuck. This is Chelsea we talking about. Chelsea first. They are feeder team, Varna. Let's make sure they get that shit right. They understand that shit. They are feeder team. All right? That's what that is. Yo, I appreciate you, Ahmed. Yo, everybody, thank you for joining. Make sure you smash the like button. There's over 100 of you in here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And welcome. Welcome to the channel. All right. So a little bit more on this Hugo stuff before we start talking about wingers. Looks like we got a verbal agreement. Frankfurt are going to want 100 million. We've known that from the beginning. I knew we would probably end up offering somewhere around 80, which comes out to about 67 million pounds is from what I checked last time I checked. So we have about 67 million pounds. Yo, by the way, there's over 100 of you in here. I'm like 50 away from 800 subscribers. Can you guys make that happen? Is that something that you guys can make happen? I'm only 50 away from 800 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 before the season starts. Can we make that happen? Because it's going to happen. I'm going to keep doing this. Every day now. I'm going to try to be doing this every day or every other day. Like, as much as the news can provide to me, I'm going to do this. So we're going to be doing these types of streams a lot. And don't forget, I want to start getting other fans on this channel. Like, I want to start getting United fans. I want United fans to talk their shit on this channel. I want them to come on here, talk their shit with Cunha and Bueno. I'm going to make sure that shit happens. Right? I want to make sure. If Arsenal fans actually do something, we always got Link and Mons to come on here and talk their shit about Liverpool. And you know, we're gonna get some fan bases. I'm gonna try to get Jacob on here if I can. So we'll do this shit. We'll do this shit. So you know what? Let me keep starring. You guys are giving me great stuff. See, Domina, I don't think that's the case, bro. We're putting our eggs in the Esteval basket, bro. We're putting our eggs in the Esteval basket, and he's more efficient on the right, bro. He's more efficient on the right. Come on, guys, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys, and let's get us to 800 subs, son. Let's get us to 800 subs. So, like I said, it's about 67.5 million pounds. The wages are nothing, bro. Wages are nothing. We'll double his wages. He'll be walking into the club. And that's why it's cheaper. That's why it's not cheaper than Osimhen. Okay? That's why it's not cheaper than Osimhen, right? To me, MZ, I've been on the Osimhen train from the beginning. Bro, I have a cowboy tin hat in that closet just in case we still sign the dude. Like, you don't even know. You got to go look at the early streams from last year. All the tin hat streams that I was doing. I made welcome to the show, though. I appreciate you coming on here, but I'm the wrong person to talk about Osimhen to, bro. I was the driving factor, my G. I was the one person sitting here trying to get all of it done. All right, so let's get to some of the questions that you guys have on Hugo, Sam. We already been here for 25 minutes talking about this dude. You know, the stats are talking. One of the top strikers and top U23 strikers in all of world football. The stats talk for themselves. But well, I'm gonna kind of get to some of y'all's questions here. So first one here from CFC Drogba. Do I actually want Ekitike? That's the best question that you guys have asked, right? So, that's the best question. Me, yes. I love this player. Okay, he's my favorite player in Bundesliga. Okay, I watch Bundesliga weekly. Okay, I did I counted up my ledger, and I watched this year. It was 83 Bundesliga games this year. Like it was quite a few. I had a few teams that I really specifically watched a ton of. Specifically Stuttgart, Dortmund, because my best friends are all Dortmund fans. Frankfurt, because I was a big Marmouche fan. And then Hugo got me. Hugo, I was loving what I was seeing from Hugo. I thought he was the best young striker in the world at a certain point. And then Hoffenheim, because I really like Tom Bischoff. Tom Bischoff. If you guys don't know who Tom Bischoff is, that's the name that you guys. That's the midfield name that you guys don't know yet. This kid is a fucking baller, bro. He is an absolute baller. But yes, yeah. These are big up to Jardel, my guy. Big up to Jardel. Next thing here, we got. Next thing is. We'll get to the wingers thing. All right. You think Ekitike gets done tomorrow? I think there's a chance, but I think the first bid goes in tomorrow, Snacks. I think the first bid goes in for tomorrow for Ekitike. And this club normally doesn't bid for players and not get the deal done. So I think I think there's a good chance that it might be done tomorrow. I think there is a very good chance. But once again, like I just said 5 minutes ago here, do not expect a player to be bought to this club without another player being sold to that same exact club. So just watch out if it's a Strasbourg player, if it's a Chelsea player. And do I rate his finishing, Aya? This is another good question. I think that there's more to his finishing than there is to Nico's finishing. I think the tools are there for him to be a very, very good goal scorer. But once again, my problem comes with strength. Like you can't have flimsy legs hitting the ball, bro. Like it doesn't matter. Like you still have to have power in your legs to be able to hit the ball. Like regardless, he needs to add muscle to himself. And that could be just his off season. Like this off season, he can add muscle. Like it's not that big of a deal. He can add muscle. But like, bro, that's the thing. He needs to add strength. And I think as he ages, also, Aya, because he's only 22, as he ages, bro, like Isak, bro, and this is the reason why people are speaking him in the same mold of Isak, okay? Because technically, I think he's even a little bit better than Isak, like technically. But Isak grew into the position. He was actually a left winger first. He's had a lot of time now since his Dortmund days, because at Dortmund at first he played left wing. Okay, this guy's never played really left wing. He's been playing mostly striker, like either in a 2 or he's played up top on his own. Isak only got better with his finishing as he got older. Now he's 25. He hits the ball with more vim. You don't get that. You can get that if you have the right technique. And with Ekitike, you could see it. You could see that he has the right ball striking technique. But as he ages, he'll get stronger bro, because you're not the same strength at 22 as you are at 25, especially if you're a professional footballer. So like he will get better. Like he will get better at his ball striking, and that's all it comes down to, bro. It's all it comes down to. Yo, the goal, the goal against Spurs, quality finish, quality. Not necessarily Nexus. Like you can play him more inside forwardish, like if you wanted to. But realistically, it would just be a 2 up top. That's realistically what it would end up being. But I think he's just a different profile to the lap. Like you're just giving defenders a different thing to think about, bro. Because like as a defender myself, the worst thing that center backs hate, the one thing that the center back hates is having to follow a striker into the midfield. So one thing they hate having to do that shit, bro. Hate having to do it, bro. It's like the one thing that is like the one. Exactly, bro. It's just the one thing that like. But yeah, like it's the one thing that you guys are gonna do is this kid's gonna put dribbling comps on people, son. Like he's gonna put dribbling comps on people. Like he's gonna put people into frying pans. Like you guys remember what Xerxes did to get to Saliba? You guys remember what Xerxes did to Saliba? Like that's what we're talking about here. Like that's the type of shit that's gonna be happening on a consistent basis. Like that's the type of dribbler that we have on our hands here. Like this is he's gonna be cooking some people. Like he's gonna be cooking some people, bro. He's gonna be cooking some people. Like that's just like the type of player he is. He just got that like that little bit about him. That he just wants to beat you he just wants to beat you off the dribble in a different way. Like that's just what it comes down to. Correct. And he's bro, and it's close control, especially for a man his size. That's why, that Pythagoras video is actually pretty cool. Like he compared him to Wembanyama because Wembanyama's dribbling is extremely good for a man his size. It's actually a great comparison in that manner. Extremely like it's a profile that you just don't see every day. Like that's just kind of what we're saying here. Like that's just a profile you don't see every day. Like you're not gonna get a 6'4" guy that can dribble like this. Like you just don't normally see that type of shit. Really, you don't. It's like I said, as long as he puts on some muscle on him, bro, which I have no doubt he will. Is you're not the same weight at 22 as you are at 24, 25, especially as a professional player. Especially as a professional athlete. You're just not. Bro, nah, he's 6'4", bro. He's not 6'2", he's 6'4". 6'3" if they're being like, they pushing him down a bit. You know what I'm saying? But that's still a monster. If he gets a little bit of fucking, to him, he's gonna be a beast, son. He's gonna be a beast. Straight up, he's gonna be a beast. I got high hopes for this dude. I got really high hopes for this dude, bro. I was scared of Liverpool getting him. I'm not even gonna front. He might scare me as much as Wirtz on that Liverpool team. That's how much I rate this dude. And I love Wirtz, but just like I didn't think their 10 was that big of an issue. I knew their striker was a big issue. Like their striker's a big fucking issue, son. It's a big issue, son. Like their 10 is like, yeah, it's an issue. It's like it's an issue that's like I think it's like a step down from like where the striker is though. Like big problems. Yo, I think he's gonna make Palmer eat, bro. This is my thought. I think he's gonna make Palmer eat. I think both strikers give Palmer a different outlet in different ways. So like, he wants to join. Yeah, it seems like he wants to join, bro. That's kind of the thing. That's kind of the thing. No. Like Chelsea, Don said something very, very, very telling to me today. Chelsea fans hate Chelsea players more than fans from other teams hate our own players. Like, we hate our players more than other fans from other teams hate our players. Like, yo, there's actually a picture of him after Frankfurt Dortmund with him in a Gittens jersey. Oh shit! All right. That being said, let's talk about Gittens. Let me get the Gittens stuff up real quick. Let's see. Pice probably has most of it. Here it is. Oh, actually, there's one more thing about Hugo that I want to go through, just to kind of cap it all off. Why can't I remember this asshole's name? Yo, what's Pice's name on fucking Twitter? The other name, the fucking non-whack account that he has? I'll find it. Max. Thank you, Ator. Okay. So last thing on Ekitike before I move on. So I'll just read it word for word. Agent at work as revealed. You can see the media picking up fast now. Ekitike agent trying to get the price around 70 million, just like we just spoke about. 67 million pounds is what we just spoke about. Ekitike wants to join the project. Gittens, and we'll get to this part here, but like guys, when I tell you something about like my German source, because he has mostly only German information, everything else is garbage he gives me for the most part. The guy that I have that's in Germany, I tell you something like that, it's normally on point when it comes to this type of thing. So like, I would be like I said, I think this ends up being moved on, and we end up seeing one of the Nazi and Bakwa going the other way in, I would say, the next week or so. This whole thing ends up getting closed up by the end of the week. That's just my opinion from behind it. But yeah, the only difference between him and Benzema, in my opinion, Ray, would be just like their body type. Like, Benzema was already like built to play in any league at any point. Like, he was just so like, he's physically ready to play in those leagues. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the one thing I would probably say. But and honestly, Ettore, Nanasi's the one they want more. So Anelka, he needed some time too. Anelka's actually a good representation of it, because he was skinny at first, and then once he got into his body, he was a monster. So yeah, Anelka's probably a good representation of it. That's what I'm saying. If we can get, like, I get the people's trepidation at 100 million. You know what I'm saying? I get the trepidation, guys. I get the trepidation in the end. But at 60, 65, that's probably what we could get for Nico. You know what I'm saying? That's probably right around what we could get for Nico, because I think we would get 50. I think we could get around 50 for him. 50, 55. So it really wouldn't even be that much of a difference between us getting rid of Nico and getting him for 10 or 15 million, 20 million more. That's realistically what we're talking about here. Like, we're talking about like 20 million-ish more to pay for Ekitike and selling Nico. So, like, to me, I'm taking the game. I think you have a higher upside with this guy than you have with Nico at any point in his career. Period. Like, there is not a point in his career where this guy's will have a better season than Nico at any will be better than Nico will ever be, in my opinion. That's just how I see it. Yeah, but MC, I mean, who hasn't overpaid for something 10, 15 million? You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't want Ekitike, we're talking 10, 15 million difference. Like, I mean, we're not that far off of what we think he's worth, really. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the way that you got to kind of look at it. Because what's 10, 15 million in football nowadays? Well, we're getting 30 for just being in the Club World Cup. You know what I'm saying? Literally, we're if you look at it, we're just for being in the Club World Cup, not playing a single fucking game, we get 30. So it's like, what's 15, 20 million to upgrade at striker? You know what I'm saying? In the end, we paid what, 35, 40 million to get 2 strikers and get rid of Nico Jackson. It doesn't sound as bad. It doesn't sound as that bad when you put it in that manner, right? Like, I don't know. I look at things as incoming and outgoings. Like, I don't always look at things as like just, oh, we paid this much. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we paid this much and they paid this much for this player and we got money in this place, and like, you know what I'm saying? If it evens out somewhat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with it. You know, I'm not necessarily, who cares? It's not our money in the end. It's not our money. Just get our club better. Make our club better in the end, bro. That's what we're talking about here. We want our club to be better. And also, like, nothing on CBs yet, though. I think that's probably like, I think that's Hazardinho, the CB situation, in my opinion, before I get to wingers and start talking about Gittens. The CB situation, the CB situation, I don't think will happen until we start seeing some sales. Like, because we do have quite a few center backs on our books right now. Like, we're probably going to have to sell a player at least to try to get a center back. And I don't know if that's going to happen right away. So I could see it being something that kind of lingers into through the deeper the parts of the window. But yeah, I did see this rumor going around. I heard somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. One of them ones, you know what I'm saying, Sullivan? This guy knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody's mom that knows Gahey, and Gahey said he's re-signing for Chelsea. Like, that's like the type of fucking. Yeah, I think so too. Huh? I think it'll be a post Club World Cup situation as well. I also think it matters like to like what type of money we get for some of these players. Like, could you imagine someone offering us 40 million for Tosin? Do you think like we would turn that down at that moment? I don't know if we turn that down. If someone offered us 40 million for Tosin when we bought him we got him for nothing last year, like I don't know if we turned that down. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the kind of thing that I'm kind of just kind of like putting in perspective. But I don't see a lot of clubs needing center backs this summer either. Like, I think Liverpool might need like a backup rotational guy, but I don't see it. Romero, I know Tottenham will probably be going for one center back because Romero's going to Atletico Madrid, from my understanding. I've been warming up. I've been warming up to the Branthwaite. I've been doing a little bit more research on that. Yeah, I saw, but I also saw that Everton is like, we ain't some, like, straight up. They're like, we ain't some. So I think Hato would be considered. I think you can get and here, Solomon, because I think Hato would be like rotational backup for both positions when I'm saying both left back and center back. All right, so let's talk about Rose Lynch is ready for it, bro. Rose Lynch has a dissertation on every single one of my streams to tell me where I messed up and what he thinks on what my profile perspective is and what his profile perspective on what I think. So I appreciate you, Rose Lynch, every single time, IG. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep commenting on my shit, because I always like reading what you say. Okay. Anyways, because Rose Lynch watches me back. He's one of my guys that watch me back, bro. Let's go through some more of these chats here. You guys really want to talk about center backs, bro? Two left-footed center backs is not a worry for me. I think I've been watching Branthwaite. He's pretty two-footed for me. He also played a lot of right-sided center back at PSV, Alex, which is really impressive. Like, you should watch some of those tapes. Like, literally, bro, his Everton tape is nothing compared to his PSV tape. And this was 2 years ago, by the way. Like, he's only like 21 or 22 now, and he was at PSV playing at Champions League with under what's that asshole's name? Ruud van Nistelrooy. Like, big up, Ziggy. Nice to see you, my G. Appreciate you, my guy. So that ass. That's straight up, yo. Yeah, he fucked him up, bro. Yeah, I watched a lot of Ekitike this year, bro. Shamelessly watched a lot of Ekitike this year, bro. Yeah, Somali Flame, I'm telling you, the tape from PSV is so impressive. Like, it is actually so impressive to his Everton tape, which just kind of gives you, like, the understanding that he's a really well-rounded defender. It's like that's the part that's really interesting about this player, because he's gone from playing front-footed football at PSV, right, and doing it extremely well. Like, he played very well at PSV, right, and then going to Everton, which is box defending, and he did that pretty well. Like, the first season was all right, but this season he was like on it. Like, he's been very good from every time I watch him, especially when he's been next to Tarkovsky, right? Like, he's been very good. Like, so that it's an interesting one, right? It's very interesting. So let's talk about Gittens real quick, okay? Guys, I always say I'm only going to do an hour, but it ends up like an hour and a half almost every time. So we'll just kind of have a conversation about it. It's okay. So obviously, like, Gittens, from my understanding, is like everybody's like is very divisive about him. Yeah. So in the chat, real quick, just so I have an understanding of like where the chat is, because like there's a lot of people in here. In the chat, just yes or no for Jamie Gittens. Just give me yes or no for Jamie Gittens in the chat, just so I have an understanding of like what the vibe is for him. Can I get yeses and nos in the chat for what you guys think for Jamie Gittens? Please and thank you. I just want to see where we're at. It seems like there's a lot of no's already. Okay, next, a couple of yeses. Pennsylvania Blues. Hey, Pennsylvania Blues. Nice to see you, G. Nice to see you. All right. Rose Lynch is yes. Mafia is yes. I is no. Okay. Pennsylvania Blues, why are you saying that, my guy? No. You can't give me sure. I said yes or no, bro. I said yes or no. We don't do sure's around here. We ain't doing no passive aggressive, no bullshit. Just give me yes or no. As long as it's not Garnacho. I 100% agree with that, I guess. All right. I'm going to change the question again. Okay? Let me see if I could just do a fucking poll. Do I have the capability of doing a poll? I don't even know if I have that capacity. I don't know if I have the capacity. Yeah, I don't think I have the ability to do that. Oh, I do. Here we are. Cool. All right. So I'm going to do, would you rather have Gittens or Sancho? I'm gonna put that up, and we will. Hey, you don't get to answer that. Neither. You don't get to answer that neither, bro. You do not get to answer that neither. Okay? Because we're going to go over other options. I promise you. I just want to know where we're at. Like, what would you rather have at this current moment? Yeah, ignoring the wage, Varna. Let's just say they get the same number. Let's say Sancho and Gittens get the same number. I'm just curious. I'm very curious on where this is going. CA Mafia. But you could argue, right, that Sancho being here with Palmer for a year is also chemistry, right? I mean, you could argue that, right? I mean, technically. All right. So I think I can end it here. I think we got. Yeah, I think I can end the poll here. All right, cool. We got 30 votes. I think we hit where we think that's good enough for this conversation. So Sancho won, 58-41. All right, cool. I can see where you guys' head is at now. All right, so let's have a conversation on the actual target itself. Right. So first and foremost, like everybody knows, this is a Manchester City product. Like anytime Manchester City product's involved, you know Joe Shields is sniffing around the fucking corner. Right. So this is obviously like a thing that is a Joe Shields pick, but I also think this is a Maresca pick because he was also under Maresca. Right. So Maresca is giving it the okay. The price for him, now let me ask you this: is it Gittens or is it the price for Gittens? Let me ask you this, Varna. I don't have to sell everything, bro. I've been selling all morning. I've been working for 8 hours, and then I just jump on and do streams. I'm not gonna sell this shit. I know, right? This is it is very tiring, but yeah. So I ask you again, is it Gittens or is it the 50 million that you would spend on Gittens? It's both, a little bit of both. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Anyone over Sancho, that's fair too. Okay. All right. So I don't necessarily. All right. So I'm kind of on the same boat as you guys. All right. I'm not necessarily for Gittens. I don't think he's ready for this football club. Okay. That's kind of like where my mindset's at with this whole thing. Is I just don't think he's ready for this football club. Like that. And it's not wrong for anybody to say that, right? Like I think everybody kind of knows like where this football club's at and what we need a different type of level of footballer at this current moment than where I think Gittens is at for us to take us to a higher level. I think that these types of footballers that we're going for at this current moment have probably higher ceilings than we're giving them credit for. But I also know that this guy's PNP and dribbling. Like that's really what we're getting. I also know, but it's a different kind of it's a different kind of dribbler than Anani. Okay, like he's more of a low center of gravity type of dribbler. He's gonna try to beat his man to the outside. He's gonna try to actually go at his man. He's very fearless in that manner that he does not care who's in front of him. He's gonna go at his man. I mean, I've watched him I wouldn't do this, Solomon. I wouldn't do this. Okay, that's even, in my opinion, worse of an option at this current moment, just based where I'm saying. But in terms of ceiling, he does have higher options. He does have a very high ceiling from the world perspective of football. But let's just talk about some options on it, right? You guys have brought up Rodrigo and Yildiz. Now, the reason why this is all right, so I always like to give context to things, okay? So I watch a lot of football, so like I'm not necessarily going to sit here and tell you something's right, something's wrong. But here's the thing, like this type of watch of football, like this look around at football, like, oh, I watched the last 50 shots. Well, last 50 shots. Let me put in perspective of you what happened to this guy. Okay? The guy is a touchline winger. Okay? This is what he is. And by the way, I'm going to pull up some stats for you so you guys can see what I'm fucking talking about here. Okay? He's a touchline winger. Nuri Sahin comes in beginning of the season. He's there for 6 months. By January, he gets sacked. Okay? But they play possession-based football. Okay? They play possession-based football. All right? So he played touchline winger for Nuri Sahin in a possession-based team. Okay? For the first 6 months. All right? Nobody else in the fucking team could play this possession-based football. Everybody else was used to playing counterattacking football, up and down football, and that's the way that Dortmund normally like to play, up and down football. But they tried to transition to possession-based, and the one player that actually played well during that time was Jamie Gittens. Let me actually show you the stats for this before we continue, okay? Because it's actually really interesting. I actually really like to put the context to this. It actually makes a lot of sense once you actually see it on your screen, okay? One second. So like but that's the thing is I don't like to use the last 50 shots as context to what he was doing because he was having to force himself to play inside forward for pretty much the entire season. Yeah. I think I need the detailed version of this. Yep. Perfect. All right. So, remember what I just told about you. Remember what I just told you guys, okay? Remember what I just told you, okay? The guy played in a system that didn't work for him in the second half of the season. And the stats show it. Just look at what happened. First, from August, right, to January, he was scoring nonstop. From August to January. And then what happened? Look. His last goal was at center forward, at striker, second striker. Do you see? It literally, like, there's no context to looking at the last 50 shots. None. You don't look at it. You look at the last 50 shots means nothing. Because the first 50 shots, try that one. Look at the first 50. Men come back to me and tell me that he was playing well. Okay? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Left foot, right foot. He had multiple different types of goals. It wasn't just like these are. It's a nine that you can't put the type of context that you're asking for. You can't. You're asking for. What you're saying is that let me look at the context of the back half of the season, right? When he wasn't even playing in the right system. He wasn't playing in the right position in the last half of the season. But in the first half of the season, when he played touchline winger for a possession-based system, this is what he did. Okay? At 20. That's a half a season, 10 goals. So, like, as much as I want to sit here and say this guy is shit, which I do kind of actually agree with you guys, by the way. I kind of agree with you guys. Like, I think he's shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually kind of think he's shit. I just don't like his decision making. Like, period. Right? I just don't. But you're telling me the guy who scored pretty much equal left foot, right footed goals in the first half of the season that plays he was playing a possession based system, who was playing touchline winger that actually fits the profile that you're talking about, doesn't make sense. That's where me and most people lose each other. The profile actually is what Maresca would be looking for, actually. Like as unfortunate as it is, right? Like, because I don't really like the player as much as like a lot of these, but like this is like, once again, I watch football, right? I watch football. Like, you wouldn't know this if you didn't watch the games. You wouldn't know this if you didn't watch them throughout the entire season. But that's why you guys can come to this channel, right? Because I'm going to have a conversation with you about what is actually real about the player and what I believe about the player, and give you the context of what I've seen about the player. Because it's not necessarily as black and white as people make it out to be. Because, you know, Twitter likes to make it black and white, right? I mean, that's just normal. We all like to make it black and white. It makes it easier for life, right? It's just what it comes down to. Black and white makes things easier. But in this manner, I just like to make sure that you guys get it, right? Like, this isn't necessarily the worst of fits if we're talking about fits, okay? So, thank you, Billy. I am so happy you did that. I'm so happy you asked that question, Billy. Who else can we go and get? That's a great question, Billy. That's a fantastic question, my G. So let's just do a little bit of comparing to some names that actually like good options for us, okay? I'm going to do a little ball knowledge for you guys and give you a little bit of some other names that you guys might not like necessarily know like the highest of levels, or maybe you guys do know. And we'll go through them. Okay. Yeah, you know, you're right. Cool. But, you know, I gave you the context, though, right? I gave you the context. He's not just absolutely shit, but he might be a fit. And honestly, this is a player that Maresca wants. And that's not necessarily anything that means anything to us, but it is a player that Maresca wants. We'll get to it, okay? So great name, Malik Fofana. I didn't even have the name written down, but we should definitely have the name. We should definitely be looking at him on in my opinion. Okay, cool. Gittens, great name. Let's put it up there. Like those stats. Like those stats. All right, what other name should we do? Ez Abdi, guy that just scored on us. I knew this one was going to give me fucking trouble. It's Ezazuli, but I'm not going to be able to fucking spell it. There it is. That's last year. Here it is this year. Ezazuli, my Moroccan baller. And then do Noah Lang. Can we do Noah Lang? Noah Lang. And let's do Semenya. All right, cool. So, one person that sticks out is Noah Lang. Okay. So, the reason Noah Lang sticks out for you is because he is their talisman and he does everything. Okay, that is also a league that is a very like finicky league to kind of judge things, as we can see with Nani. Nani's stats from in that league on the same team actually was actually really good, really high. So I wouldn't consider Eze a winger, by the way, and I don't think Matoma is on the target for us. So I think all these players are potentially players that we can potentially get. Like this is realistically the market. Right. Like this is like the realistic market of the players that we can potentially get. Bakayoko plays right wing. So yeah. We need a left winger that is right-footed. But yeah. So the one player I'm gonna pull out of this conversation, since it's not a major league, is I'm gonna pull out Noah Lang. Okay. Now, Malik Fofana. Let's focus in on him. Okay. So with Malik Fofana specifically, the issue is his shooting accuracy specifically. He doesn't actually. It's actually pretty good GA wise, but he's actually not as much of a creator as people make him out to be. I think the one thing with Rodrigo specifically, and this is gonna I'll get to what I want at the end. So like we'll have a conversation about this. And we'll have a conversation about Rodrigo, in my opinion. Like, just overall, we'll have a conversation on it. Specifically with Malik Fofana, the one thing that he's going to have to get better at is making sure that he makes the right type of passes. He's really good at knowing when to dribble past someone and really good at taking on his man and shooting. But his shooting is really poor. Like, it is really poor. And I mean, it's once again, this is a 20-year-old we're talking about. So like it can improve. Like the form isn't the problem like it is with Nico Jackson. It's mostly just how strong he is and but the low center of gravity and the dribbling level is at a very high level. Like his dribbling level is extremely high. Except the thing is with Lyon, they have him up the pitch a lot more. So you're not the one thing when you see these like 90 dribbling numbers is they pick up the ball deeper they pick up the ball deeper a lot of the times. So like I wouldn't consider like these numbers like great numbers for these guys. It's just like that's why I don't like this stat specifically. Like successful dribbles is more important to me than number of dribbles, if that makes sense, right? Like I would rather see you making successful dribbles than actually like just dribbling past, trying to dribble past someone and not being good. Because I'm sure, like, let me actually pull up a name here and watch how I know that this number is terrible. Garnacho's in the high 80s, but his successful dribbling rate lowest in the league, lowest in all of Europe, in the low 20s. So like that's kind of where this is at right now. Okay. That's kind of where this is at. So let me just remove this guy right here because I don't think we actually go for him because Napoli are going to give Antonio Conte who he wants. Okay. So that's a key factor for that. He's going to get who he wants. Now, the name that I like the most here is Yildiz, in my opinion. The problem with Yildiz is if he's most successful, in my opinion, in the 10. Like, that's my problem with him. Like, not to say that it can't translate, but with the way that we play, like, having him on the touchline almost makes him, I don't want to say useless, right? But it makes him much more ineffective, in my opinion, right? Like, you're not getting the effectiveness of Yildiz having him all the way out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the issue with it. with getting a guy like that. That's why like a guys that can actually keep the width and be successful doing that is you're talking about the two top guys. As Azuli just doesn't provide enough goals. He just doesn't. Yeah, we can do Nico Williams. Okay. Let's remove Azuli. We've already spoken about Malik Fofana. Yildiz is one of our top options, and then Semenya. So I think Semenya has just been overrated by Premtex. And what I mean by Premtex is there's just not that many good wingers in the Prem. Like, that's just the realistic nature of it. Like, I just don't think that there's that many good wingers in the Prem, period. Like, Ben Seguir, yeah, we can do Ben Seguir. I just don't think Ben Seguir they're ready to let Ben Seguir leave, by the way, Jabo. Like, I just don't think they're ready for him to leave. Bro, not only can't Semenya finish, but look at what he does as a passer. As a creator. It's poor, bro. It's poor. Like, I'll have to watch that game. Adam, I didn't know that. Huang Hee-chan? I don't know about that guy, bro. I don't know who that is. I thought Huang Hee-chan was the guy that played for Wolves. I think you're talking about Kang and Lee. I think that's what you're talking about. Who's at PSG? And he's more of a 10 inside winger. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that game. I've never really seen him play outside like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing. And I feel this is another one. This is another one for me. Like he's best suited to play inside. Like him keeping the width, that kind of worries me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that worries me. Like, him playing out wide like that. Like, he just like him not getting involved in the game, him just staying and keeping the width and then driving at players. Like, that's not really his game. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's just not a winger, you know? I don't think you're wrong, MZ. So let's do the comparison, right? So let's remove these two. Let's remove Yildiz, right? Because Yildiz, like, I have to do more research on how many times he's actually like played like a real left wing. But like, I know that he has had times at the left wing, but he's been most successful playing inside as like a 10, inside forward, like second striker kind of situation. Like, that's when he's been most successful. So let's remove that and let's go specifically on these two. Well, they already have a partnership, right? Mafia, like, they just won the Euros together, so they already have a partnership, right? Also, like, does this? Like, I guess MZ. My question for you here: does this quantify to 25, 30 million in a transfer budget and 100 to 150 more million in wages? Like, does this comparison right here, like, of like the type of player that you're getting, necessarily give you any indication that like he's worth twice as much almost? I don't think that that's the case though, bro. Like, I don't think that's true. That's not actually true at all, to be honest. Mafia, they're like, not for nothing, he's not the best player on that team. He's not even the third best player on that team. Like, that's the actual truth. Like his brother's better than him, and Sanset, the 10 that plays for him, got player of the season this year and team of the year for La Liga. Like, okay, I mean that's fair. If that's what you believe. I'm not gonna necessarily tell you that you're wrong necessarily. I just don't think that the stats in the eye test don't give me a player that's that much better than Jamie Gittens. That's just from my opinion. And a lot of what I saw in Spain was him getting like counter-attacking opportunities because they were extremely direct and they were getting them the ball in the spaces. Like that's what I saw from him, right? Like I saw Yamal pick up the ball in a half space, hit the ball into hit the ball deep to him so he can just run onto it and hit and score. And he was scoring some goals. It's not getting twisted. He was scoring some goals. But I think that I don't know if that's really translatable. That's my opinion on it. Correct, Alex. The percentage of goals that are not penalties is NPG. That is correct. I mean, what's a higher level than Spain? Here's the thing is, they're both low IQ players, bro. I'm gonna be fucking honest. They're both low IQ players. I think the one thing that Nico has on him is he's a more capable winger as an inside forward. Like he has the capability of being an inside forward at a higher level. Just because I just think he understands understands the inside runs better and the inside channels better. Like I think that's something that is underrated in his game, and the way that he runs into the channels is extreme. He likes a player that like Hugo that can drop in deep and he can run into the channel a lot of the times. Or the guy that's gonna run, he's gonna run into the channel, and then a guy's gonna come back around and take his spot. So like, I don't think it's necessarily like the wrong profile, right? Like I think Nico technically would be the right profile. I think it's just the same issue that I have with Gittens is like the decision making in like tight areas and the dribbling in tight areas isn't as good as people make it out to be. Like he's just not this like great passer in my opinion. He's not this like and he actually like the stats will tell you otherwise, right? Like the stats will tell you, oh, he's a better passer than Gittens. But when I watch him, it's just like it's not this like his crosses don't come off in this manner that like comes and hits the guy at his feet consistently. Like he's a very inconsistent crosser, and I'd say the same about Gittens in my opinion. But I think that one thing about Gittens that you're going to get is that he's going to be cheaper, and I think they're relatively the same in my opinion. I don't think there's like this huge chasm between the two of them. Like I just think they're just both kind of meaty. In my opinion, the decision making, bro. Decision making to me is the most important part of football. Like that's really the most important part of football. Like if you're not making great decisions, like you could be the best physically gifted, best dribbler ever. But if you're not a good decision maker, like who cares? Who cares? But that's to me the most important part of football, bro. Like if you can be a good decision maker, you can last a lot longer than guys who aren't decision makers. Why do you think Jorginho has played football for as long as he has? Because all he does is just he's a good decision maker or a safe decision maker in his case. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Like I'm just like I'm tired of bad decisions being made on our wings as consistently as they are. But I think part of having bad decisions is having lack of options that are making runs into the box, and that's partly our strikers issue. Like our striker is just not making consistent enough runs into the box front post, which by the way, Ekitike is probably one of the most consistent front post runners in world football. Like he'll make front post runs. He'll make a front post run and back heel it to another guy for him to score. Like that's the type of front post runner that guy is. But yeah, hey, and I'm right there with you, Ator. I'm right there with you. But MZ, the difference is, right? The only difference with it, you're right. You're right. All of the wingers are too raw. All of them. You're right. 100%, bro. 100%. The only difference is Nico wants 200 bags a week. Like, that's the only difference, bro. I give you it all, bro. I give you all of it, right? But he wants 200 bags a week, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's 100 bags more than these other wingers that we linked with. Like, that's just my only honest opinion behind it, you know? Like, that's really the only thing that would say have me not picking Nico Williams over Gittens, in my opinion. But yeah, what I'm gonna do for y'all, honestly, is I'm gonna do like a solo like upload. I'll do it on Yildiz. Okay, I'm gonna do some scouting on Yildiz. I'll watch some stuff this week, and by the weekend, I'm gonna try to get something out for you guys. Since you guys are very interested, seems to be very interested in Yildiz, I'm gonna do a little bit more of like some inside analysis, as I would say, inside analysis. Like I gave you guys like the analysis from Gittens, because by the way, like Yildiz does not have this great output, right? Like it's not this like extremely great output, bro. It's not like a great output that he's putting out. But like I don't actually. I don't. I stopped using Wisecout. I just started. I have enough access to uploaded games now that I don't need Wisecout. Like I could get Wisecout, but I like watching full games and like parts of games where I'll just like to fast forward it and like see where they're positioning themselves and pressing moments, because Wisecout won't do that for you. Like Wisecout will give you like every touch and all that matter. I like to watch like what you're doing positionally and where you're going, where you are off the ball and things of that nature. So like that's kind of the way I do scouting, and I'll watch like full 45s most of the time when I'm doing scouting, at least full 45s. But yeah, because like a lot of times I'm watching games and like they'll get subbed off after 60 minutes, so I won't watch the second half of a game unless they score a goal. But yeah, I'll watch normally full 45s when I'm watching games. Yeah, that's also a good point. Williams is a very much more experienced player, I would say. He's much more experienced. But once again, I'm not giving Nico Williams anywhere near what he wants. The best I'd give him is $150, and he can take it or fucking leave it. Like I wouldn't give him more than $150. $150 plus add-ons, he can suck it. That's how I feel. Because I don't think he's that level of player, in my opinion. I do get he has more experience, but I just don't think he's that level of player that people make him out to be. But that's just my opinion, right? That's just literally my opinion, bro. That's just my opinion. You guys have your own opinion behind it. I don't see the same player you guys see. But I don't watch as much La Liga as a lot of you guys do. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't. I don't take to La Liga like a lot of guys do. I watch Bundesliga. I watch League One, and I watch the Premier League. Those are the leagues I enjoy the most personally. But that's it. All right. I think that is all gone for. But Bator, you're telling me, man. It's dead as fuck. Well, I appreciate it. If you guys have not yet, okay, let's see where we're at. Let's see where we're at. Bro, if you guys have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're at 758. Trying to get, like I said, we're trying to get to a 1K. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's see if we can get me 2 more subscribers for this show. 2 more subscribers would be the goal to get me to 760. So I'm at 758. Give me a 760. There's over 100 of you in here. We can get 2 more subscribers. Okay. So I appreciate you guys. MZ, appreciate you, my G. Thanks for coming in. One more subscriber, by the way. One more subscriber. Appreciate you guys for coming in. No, Varna. He is guaranteed to go. And we're gonna head out for the day. I'm gonna go get on my motorcycle and enjoy this weather. Hope you guys have a good one.